Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I got my sister Miss Legros with us today. T Simple. We coming through for the second part of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. I'm Calvin Nello. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm sure you can introduce yourself way better than I can.
I'm Lara Legros. Thank you for
Amazing.
having me today again
Yeah, we up
for
in here doing it.
the last part.
Absolutely. This 2 books in like 4 months, yo. I feel like I'm in a pattern really like I need this. I need this. So thank you so much for just being committed and not dumping me, man. I really appreciate
Oh, no. Thank you.
it. Absolutely, absolutely. It's getting tired, man. It's like even like you don't know if you notice on like Clubhouse, it's just everybody is just like trying to like things are opening up. So all like the things we used to do that was just pre-demic, for the pandemic, are slowly, kind of losing its relevance, and everybody's just like, I want to get away. I want to go to Rome. I want to go to Spain. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it
Yeah.
on Clubhouse too. I don't know if you noticed it.
I have not been using Clubhouse that much. It
Me
it
neither.
was okay for what it had to do, but I don't. Now I have less free time. No, time that is like more occupied, like in more important things. And don't get me wrong, like I did like a few good connections on Clubhouse and a few interesting conversations.
Yeah.
But it's like all these like I want to become the influencer, or I want to become the main speaker. People needs to listen to me.
Mm.
No, man, that's why like I can change channels on my computer, on my TV. Like it's
Yeah.
about I think the purpose it was lost at one point. Like the whole thing
Mm.
was about sharing and connecting, but then
Yeah.
it became like, no, I need to have like X amount of followers, people buying followers, trying to make money through that. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
may use it in the future, but I don't know. Maybe let's see next winter. Let's
Well,
see how things are going.
Well, as we're talking about the irrelevancy of Clubhouse, there's so many things that are just in debate of relevancy. I don't know if you've heard about the 1619 project.
That is so funny. I do have a
Oh, you got
one
it?
second.
Yeah,
One
go ahead.
second.
Yeah,
Let
go
me
ahead.
show you.
We're on the same frequency. That's perfect.
I got a hat.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
I bought it from a Spike Lee website. This
Oh,
is 40
oh,
acres ancestor. So yeah,
excellent, excellent,
I know
excellent.
about it.
Yeah, I mean, so like this book, right? We said this is literally like the rookie version of critical race theory. No offense, like we love it, we love what he's doing, but critical race theory is needed, right? And with Nicole Hannah Jones, the author of the 1619 Project, she actually got her tenure denied at UNC Chapel Hill because of the Republican pressure of this project. Because this project is literally in schools now; it's a part of curriculum, and essentially, it's making an argument because it's not like a book; it's an argument, it's an essay, and essentially, she's arguing that Black people of the diaspora, right? They are Americans, right? They are just as American as anyone. They built this country. And just to make a long story less long, she argues that she wished that she would have talked about reparations. And the argument really makes a really great case for reparations, right? And so you have pretty much critical race theory and people trying to run away from it because they don't want to be held accountable. And I think that's why
Mhm.
this book is so great, right? Because it just literally plants that seed. But then, it's just so crazy, right? People don't want to be held accountable for, actions. And we just have to keep pulling that pressure. We need more books like this.
Yeah, we do need to. I mean, this book is critical to open a conversation
Yeah.
without being seen as aggressive, or like
Yeah.
defense. It's just like it's breaking down very easy subjects that you should wonder as non-Black American what is happening, why we are here. So I feel like I agree, he did a great job just breaking down. It's very simple. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
Anybody can read it. It doesn't matter like what social class you have.
Yeah.
But he mentioned like usually it's going to be more like it's going to be white American than in no poor white America who's going to have hold of this book. So yeah, I think he did a great job. It's too easy for us because it's like, yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's not something that I guess like you get a lot. It's not something that you learn from it, but I guess it's something that you can learn how to break it down in a conversation, like when you are sharing with someone who is not black. Say like, okay, you see, like let's break down this subject.
Yeah.
Like Gen Z probably if they get hold of the book and we talk about like he has the other book for younger people, they're probably going to like maybe they it's good for them to have a conversation within the same group of friends and say like let's come together. Millennials, I think if we care a little bit more, we could do that. But Jen said, I see like they're building a bridge within because everything it is like blur. There is no male, like the genders, everything is like rejected. The racial thing, everything is like they are asking why and how. They're asking the right questions. So
Absolutely.
hopefully they have hold of this book as well.
Absolutely. And I don't know if did you go to the one where you talked about love wins, the interracial family?
Yeah.
And he talks about transracial adopting. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. That's the first time I've ever heard of that word before. So I have to give credit to that. I definitely did learn something that I didn't know already in this book. So I really appreciated that. But just still talking about interracial relationships, right? And he says, I'm a white man who is married to a black woman. And we have two beautiful children. Being a white man, I cannot begin to know the pressure of being black in America. As a father, interracial children, I fear that I cannot adequately prepare them for the future. How can I explain to my son and daughter that life could be harder for them than it is for me? So that's a very genuine concern. You understand what I mean? And I think the way that he talked about it, I don't feel like it answered the question. I feel like it's way more than just, because this is like 4 pages, 8 pages if you think about it,
Yeah.
So, and that's why I thought about it, like, because then he talks about, I don't know if you read the part where he talks about like watch movies like The Wiz, Friday, and where is it? I just had it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think like we need to understand as well. He's like a young athlete who has become and changed career, and in 6 months maybe he has written a book about what type of conversation we should be having. So I cannot expect the level of academia that I could have from a sociologist or like a psychologist or a therapist who are trained to have these type of conversations within the nuclear family. He's Nigerian, raised in America, Nigerian, like both parents Nigerian.
Yes.
Has he have experienced something similar? No, no close. So it wasn't for him to provide like a good answer. I'm surprised even like he dared to touch that because you have no experience and you are just telling me about like your life knowledge. It's not something like you have how you have educated yourself, how you are like providing an answer about this. I'm happy that you're pointing it out. However, you would have maybe to be safe, I wouldn't have mentioned that because his experience as a Black American is quite limited and limited in the sense of like there are a lot of things that his family tree has not suffered as a Black American. We mentioned that, and the trans racial relationship or like transracial kids or whatever how he mentioned that if you didn't have that situation, like maybe he should have interviewed more people to see how they have been dealing with that to get like a better answer, I say. But
Yeah,
that wasn't the play where you were going to find it. Because how
yeah.
you're gonna tell how he's gonna do that?
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I asked the question. Like, you know, if I think we can acknowledge that, you know, he's not Black American, so his experience is different. So he's gonna write from a different perspective, even though he is Black, so he can still have some empathy. But I'm curious to know, like, how do you think it would have read if he was a white man or like he was a different race?
And
Um,
we wouldn't be buying this book. We would be like, right, that's the last thing I need to. You are going to have a conversation. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I think someone who is not Black can write a good book about their experience,
I
how
agree.
they become an ally,
I agree.
how and their life experience, and maybe it resonates more within the white society because it's one of their own. Now, it maybe invalidates the whole conversation just because you are bringing the whole point of view that you are not having, and that was the purpose.
Hmm.
So, yeah, um, you have heard about Kevin Samuels, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's the kind of situation where we have people that they have a platform and they provide advice and create a conversation, but it's and they are very well spoken. And I'm not saying this is the case of Emmanuel Acho, but what is the credibility? What is the validation about what you are saying? Why we have, yeah, why we cannot question this? Um, I can write a book. I really wish it is on my wish list to write a book. Now people will be like, who are you? And I would be like, bro, don't buy it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's going to be
Yeah.
about my experience. It's some, but I cannot really provide advice about certain things. And I think like that's yeah, society right now. Everybody, you see like how many followers has like Kylie Jenner?
Right.
What you do? Nothing. But if you buy a book, people will buy it. It really depends of your exposure. So
I think if you're going to have a critical race book, you definitely have to have a level of criticality, right? You have to be able to like really, you know, to like take the risk to like just analyze it, right? You know, and say for what it is. If you're going to dig in these type of conversations, because these conversations require critical thinking. Um, And so again, like you said, kind of like with the Kevin Samuels, I think the issue with those type of people and a lot of YouTube influencers is that people don't cross-reference. You know, like a lot of things like science, right? When people make scientific discoveries, they have peer reviews. You know, they have people that read over them, they critique them, right? And that's how you can tell if something is credible.
mhm.
Unfortunately, that's not the case with a lot of our influencers that we can a lot of it is dogmatic in times if you think about it because you're so caught up in one lane you're just like this is all fact and you're not being critical at all you know yeah.
And also like more how you call it more. It's like people like Kevin Samuels use something to bring attention.
Right.
It's not knowledge. It's not data. I have not seen him like relying on data. It
Hmm.
is really his perspective, and because he's older than his audience, is respected because he looks in a certain way is respected, and that is like how we are validating what he is saying. But that happens all the time. It's all the time, especially yeah. And everywhere you go, we see someone who is like being validated by the rest. It's just because he's bringing something that like why not? But in this case, I reading it, I'm like, it was a little bit too simple,
Very. Yeah.
yeah, right? I would have really appreciate bring something more to the table. Maybe he's going to get like another book, but I don't know. do a quick interview with someone, bring like more reference that people can use, or everything was like, no offense,
Yeah,
but
let me
if you go,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you go to ID and you get like a few like good tweeters, like tweets, that's you
Shit.
no, because I mean, like there are like a lot of tweets that are very good, and they explain like this is what happened with like Tulsa massacre, or like this is what happened about the justice system. You get into it, like there are people that they are actually putting a lot of knowledge out there for free. This is not,
Too much different.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's good. It's good for what it is. It's good for what it
absolutely.
is.
He says, if you're going to adopt a Black child, please make sure that they are versed in Black culture. A rock, a rock bottom start. Learn little things as culturally specific as how to play spades and dominoes. See classic films like The Wiz, School Days, Malcolm X, and Coming to America, as well as more contemporary ones like Friday, The Wood, Love and Basketball, and of course, Black Panther.
He's like, he's saying like, please make these kids to not be bullying in school. Like, don't do that. I get it, but hey, I don't know how to play spades. I wouldn't do that.
I know how to play spade. It's not that hard. You just gotta be able to do the math.
I'm
You
sure
gotta
like
be able to
we
do
did
the math.
that with another name, but yeah, no, that was funny. That was the only thing he's asking for.
That's what I was saying. Like, if he was a white man saying that, that white man will never live to see another day. I'm telling you, man.
No, I think, and it's funny because I follow an account on ID, and this woman has three kids adopted, and two of them are Black kids, dark skin, like beautiful kids, and the eldest one, she's 3. She's asking about why my skin color this way or whatever,
Mm.
and she was talking to her, and that woman was on tears on IG saying like, do you guys remember at what time you were asking, like, knowing about the color of your skin, like how it worked? And she's trying to do her best, right? Like she said, like where she lives is a very white area, so she doesn't have like that many Black kids.
Right,
She's aware, and as much as aware you can do, like it's always going to have like some challenges.
right.
Um,
Yeah, and so that's why this book is great, because there are people that literally, as far as like criticality on critical race theory, their level, we're probably at like 500 or whatever. They're literally probably at like -5, you know, and they need something. And even teachers, right? You know, a lot of teachers struggle with teaching Black kids, and they are in need of culturally responsive lesson plans, you know. And not saying that Black kids are the only one that benefit from culturally responsive lesson plans, because that's not true. All kids benefit from culturally responsive lesson plans. But if you want that, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You want to be current, you know, you want to be modern, you want to be of, what's the word I'm looking for? Progressive, right? In your lesson plans, and not come off tone deaf like a lot of teachers do. You know, you need
yeah.
to be able to get the blueprint. And so that's why this book is great, you know.
And I think, um, I guess like for teachers, it's also different because you probably have a class and there are like kids that they are like from different backgrounds. And well, you as a teacher know, but a white teacher may encounter that. The the key thing why they need to read this type of books is because these teachers in America have learned a wrong story about Black America. You have not learned the bad story, you know, and oppression towards any other groups, because any other groups are coming after the birth of America as a nation that was based in slavery. So
Right.
they really have to do the job to make sure that that unconscious bias is wiped off, or at least they are aware that they may have unconscious bias, because
Right.
the effects towards like the Black students is going to have like a totally different impact towards like students that they are like from Indian background or Chinese or like Latins.
Yeah.
And I think like that is very important. I didn't really think like that before until you mentioned about the teachers, but I think like it is true.
Yeah.
It's so important.
I mean, again, criticality, right? You are literally questioning something that appears like normal, right? So, for example, what have Joe Biden done for Black people? I told you I had an answer for it, right? And so here's the answer. So, in the COVID relief package, he and his constituents, they ensured that $5 billion went to Black farmers during the pandemic because throughout
Billion.
5 billion, right?
Okay.
5 billion. To go to Black farmers because, apparently in like the 50s, we had over 1 million Black farmers, or like, like the early 20th century, mid 20th century. And now we only have 40,000. And that's due to systemic racism. That's due to, just like the inequity. And essentially the
Right.
reporter, because what they like to do is they like to call reverse racism, right? And now they're suing the Department of Labor because of that, because they're saying that you can't give only Black people this, and not give this to white people, and that's not what it's saying, right? If you had a critical lens, right? When you don't have that critical lens, then you think, yeah, they're just taking away from other, white farmers, and you're just dedicating it to, Black people. But then when you read the history, right? Because criticality is all about history, right? Because if you know your history, then you can understand, why it's like this, right? And the guy pretty much said, like, what are you talking about? These people, these types of farmers have been literally disbanded for years and years and years. And you telling me all these other farmers, they're building all this wealth, and we're trying to at least equalize the playing field by giving them this money. You understand what I mean? You're literally suing them so you can get that money when you already have this. You understand what I mean?
So it's so sad. And essentially when you have to go back to the books and prove it, and they still discussing that's hard though.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do in order to get reparations. You have to prove that the injustice occurred, right? In Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? The Tulsa massacre that happened in Oklahoma. Like, those people are literally, those descendants, there's only 3 of them left. They are still, 15 years, they've been trying to get compensation, and they still haven't been able to get money because they can't prove it in a court of law, right? It's crazy.
And it was so, when I saw like there were like these 107-year-old woman reading and telling you, like, do you really need a 107-year-old woman to testify here? Like, you already have a lot of data. This is not like something crazy like from nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the fact that they have to, like, that's crazy. It's crazy. But he mentioned about the book as well. About
yeah, he did. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I brought it up. Yeah, and
yeah.
And I remember I was watching Roland Martin. The guy was talking about. Have you seen The Watchman?
No.
The Watchman.
Is it the blue guy?
With Regina King, not the movie, but the show that got the Golden Globe, I think. That's some.
No, I have no. I know what he's. Yeah.
It's really good. But essentially, it takes place in like the future of like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it kind of talks about how like they use reparations. They kind of did like a form of reparations in the show, and the guy in Roland Martin was pretty much talking about like, you have white people that, because they've been taught about Rome, they've been taught about Greece in their classes and their schooling. They didn't learn about the Tulsa massacre until they watched this show. Like, that's how bad it is, right? And that is why I brought up the Nicole Hannah-Jones thing, because that is why, she is a phoenix. Like, Nicole Hannah-Jones, like, you talking about like critical race theorist. If you read her stuff on segregation, schools segregation in New York, she is a pioneer. Like, she got a Pulitzer Prize and she has a Genius Award. They're like, hell no, we cannot get you on this board. And you know what I did? I wrote a letter to each and every one. I follow Charlemagne, even though I don't like him. He's whatever. But, I listened to him, and I literally wrote a letter to all of them, and I let them know, like, yo, and I let my friends know too. I hope you write a letter too, man, because.
A letter to who?
to the board of trustees at USC.
How I'm gonna like listen? I'm here in Europe, but I think what you're doing is wrong. And I'm
Yes,
supporting my friend.
bro.
Right.
I scrolled down and saw all those people on the board of trustees. It's literally a bunch of people that don't look like me, and one black woman named Teresa, God bless her, and another white woman. and,
Teresa.
and I was like, my friend was like, is she scared? Is she kinfolk? I was like, I hope she kinfolk. I hope Teresa was screaming up to her lungs to try to make sure they didn't go through this shit, because they literally, like, the role that the lady has, Nicole Hannah-Jones has at the university, you're supposed to get a tenure position. But because there were pressure from these, oh my gosh, these politicians, you know, like, come on, man.
It, I feel like we can all agree that
These are
all
grown
these
people. These are grown people making these decisions.
all this madness that is happening is nothing based on facts or rational. It is based only in the belief system of people in power. That's it. Science would revoke, history would revoke. However, they want to believe what they want to believe all the time. And that is the part that's scary. It's like, you know, you are doing wrong. Like, I'm just waiting and see, like, when are you going to start losing power and everything is going to be more balanced? Because at the end of the day, they are making like things way more difficult than it should. Nothing is going to happen to you. Why you're not doing it? What's the problem? Why you have so much hate? You didn't suffer. You are not the victim. You don't have the trauma. How you can hold so much hate towards like something that can be progressive and change the life of like million people?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I really would like, I need to check about Emmanuel Acho, but I would like him, like to see like, probably he has like interviews with like white people who has read their book and see like how, it's not like they have changed their life, but how it had changed their perspective. Out of, yeah, about a lot of things. That would be very interesting.
I mean,
because for us, it's not a game changer.
Yeah, and you got to think about who his audience is, right? He works for the NFL, works for ESPN. Like, that's predominantly, white, people, So, I'm definitely sure he is. He has some strategy to his tactics. So I definitely support the brother, man. I do appreciate his distinguish between like public unrest and a riot and rebellion. I do appreciate that, because that can get confused a lot. He talks about George Floyd and Mark Arbery, and he talks about Breonna Taylor and hoping that Breonna Taylor gets justice, and this was prior to them getting they got the settlement, but they still, didn't. Yeah, what happened. So again, really, really great intro book to critical race theory. I'm curious to know, and I want to hear from like the UK side, what he talks about from you. He talks about love wins and interracial relationships, and how, black people are considered like exotic, right? And you want to make sure, like, you can love who you love. That's what he says. Like, I don't care who you love, but just make sure you understand why you love them. It's not because of some fetish or some type of like, because unfortunately, like, there was a love-hate relationship between the slave master and the slave. You understand? Because they had to manipulate them and make them think that, the slave master was their only like answer to everything. And so they had to like, it was a reverse. They had us all messed up in the head. You know what I'm saying? They raped us, right? They had kids by us. You understand what I mean? You have some slave masters literally leaving wills to their to their kids. It's crazy, right? And it says that if you get like a drop of blood of black, then like, just understanding that. What is that dynamic like in UK? Like, do you see a lot of interracial relationships? Are people?
You have
people
eyes.
like?
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I told you, like, most of my friends are American, and sometimes we see a lot of interracial relationships, to the point that we see sometimes more interracial relationship between black male and white woman than actually we see like black guys and black girls.
Yeah.
And we are both like, it's not that something. Like, what's happening? Is here in London, if you go on the street, you will see it.
Really?
As a black woman, I'm like a little bit of like, what is the narrative? Why? It's not like, anybody can love whatever, but I see a lot of white women that they fetishize
Really?
black men. They
Really?
want to have a black boyfriend.
Really?
For me, I don't hear, I mean, obviously, and black guys, they say like they want to have like a white girlfriend, or they don't say it, they act on it, they don't have to say it. But for me, it's a little bit of like, that's why. Why you want to have a black boyfriend? Why? What is it? Oh no, I just like them more. I'm like, you're fetishizing black male. You are not really, because tell me if you like more Jamaican guys,
Mm-hmm.
if you like more, because here is different. You
Right.
really are very close to your roots. If you like more a Nigerian guy, or if you like more in the Nigeria, like there are like different tribes, and they are very connected to like their culture. The fact that you are telling me that you like black guys, it
Mm.
really tells me, it really throws me off. Like you can see, listen, where I live is supposed to be like a black neighborhood, which it is, but gentrification.
Right.
Uh, but there are like some bars that there's like black, like it's not black on, but a lot of black people used to go there. Now I see like mainly white girls waiting for the black boys, and I'm like, wow. And a lot of women they say like we want to have I want to have like kids that look like you. I know. Do you think I'm a dog or something, bro? Like how you can want to have like kids that look like me?
It,
You kind of make them. You
it
need
was
someone else to create that, and it's not based in love. I'm not going to discuss the love. A lot of people they probably because a lot of neighborhoods they are very connected. Like you have like white and black
yeah.
people live in the same area. So I do understand that you grow up and it's just you are
Proximity.
connected.
Right.
These women that they had like one black lover one time or like one black boyfriend, and now they like, oh, I
Yeah, they
like
went
black,
back.
and I'm like, no, sis. It's weird. It's weird because they don't care about the religion that they practice. They don't care. A lot of them. I'm not saying everybody. They don't care about the culture. They don't care. Like, would you go to Nigeria
Yeah.
to meet
Right.
a family?
Right.
You know, it's not. I don't see like a really genuine connection.
Mm.
I don't. I'm not saying like after that it doesn't happen, but then I can see them that they are not equipped to raise the kids
Right.
because you you are raising a family, and there is also accountability from black men. you know I mean, they are choosing, so it's very, yeah, it's no.
That's interesting. I mean, that's really interesting. And I think his point is saying like, you can't just be in love with a black man. You have to be in love with black culture, right? You have to make it your culture, right? You have to learn it. You have to understand it. You have like it's more than just a
At
black
one point,
man, you know what I'm saying,
at
or a
one point
black
it becomes,
relationship.
you're right what you're saying, but at one point it becomes like you are appropriating. We
Right.
see like Kylie Jenner's and the Kardashians when they're like taking everything just because they have a black partner. How many? Well, the Kardashians, some of them they have black friends, but if you don't really have like black friends, like you embrace your own culture and then accept the others. Don't try to go so hard, like just trying to like look darker, putting like a lot of makeup, putting your hair in
Braids. Yeah.
cornrows, or like wearing like big hoops, um, putting like lips bigger, like fillers. going to get your BAM done. I have a problem. It's not like it's my problem, but I don't like that particularly. I don't like that. It's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, and he talks about it again in the book about privilege, right? And like sacrificing your privilege to uphold someone else. So I think
Yeah.
that is the key. Like, if you're going to appropriate, well, excuse me, you shouldn't appropriate. So like, how to end racism? Like, he definitely talks about privilege and he talks about it. The hard conversation hopefully just okay disclaimer. Some advice for the group discussion. I can't find it, but again, they have to sacrifice their privilege, right? And that's going back to like the Friday thing. Like I feel like this, like going back to what you wish what he wanted a little bit. Like it should have been a little bit deeper because the conversation is way deeper than the way that he displayed it. Like if you're going to introduce someone to Friday, you don't just buy all these like these DVDs and you just go binge it. Like it has to happen in a way where it's like a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? Like be around, just like be around black people. Then all of a sudden y'all watch Friday. Okay, I never seen Friday, and you watch Friday. Like don't be like thirsty for the shit. Like like it has to be. You have to have real, genuine relationships with people, and like have real, genuine experiences. Like, I didn't watch Friday because I wanted to be black more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched it because this shit was funny and I was around someone that was watching it. And I was in that, but it's just, oh man.
That's the part where it comes like you don't need to become one of us. You're just an ally. We just don't want you to be racist. You just want us to get to know us as people. And you keep your line, we keep ours. We are just like trying for you to understand that we are neighbors and we're cool. That is, and everything that I have told you about black people, 99% is a lie. So you have to reeducate yourself.
Yeah.
So he makes the enough trigger to have the conversation. Like you can get one chapter and have a conversation in like 30 minutes or an hour with a friend and go to another one. And then that is like, but I don't want other people, not only white people, like anybody else to feel like, oh, in order to be this way, I have to talk the same way like you do. I have to dress the same. Like, no, that's not what it is.
I went to this. I was in Louisiana. I don't know if you knew, but I was in Louisiana like last week. And Louisiana is very segregated as well. It's a lot of white people and there's a lot of black people and there's a lot of interracial relationships. There are a lot of towns where black and white people live together. I was in Sanchez, Mississippi. Exactly. Where is that? I'm driving. I'm seeing like old slave plantations. I'm like, yo, like, where am I? And I go to CVS and there's this white girl and she's talking and she literally like authentically though, like I'm not saying like she literally saw that she was black, and I couldn't even fake it though. Like she probably like like she was around black people, they talk like that, and she literally sound just like you would have thought she was a black woman, and but I could tell she wasn't faking it. I could tell she wasn't doing that because like
that's who she is.
Exactly, and that's what like that's it's just so many nuances, man.
It's a little bit of like weird, but at the same time, like if you naturally have grown around black people, I'm not going to take your blackness. That part of your culture is not regarding the color of your skin. It's about your culture. You have been raised in black culture. I accept that. The problem is when you convert into just because you had a black lover and the jungle fever got you. No, that is the part where I don't feel comfortable when you are fetishizing, like probably that girl, she may can answer good questions about her community. She knows, she lives there. But it's these people that they are just like, exactly. That's the crazy. And it's so funny because I went to a store today. Halle Berry has launched
really?
with very like a lane of like workout clothes. So we went in because it's Halle Berry. Oh, you gotta know like what she wearing, like how much it is. So we're around. My friend loves that brand, and there was one girl at the cashier, and she was just trying to have conversation. We were looking to the video that was on loop with Halle Berry and the models. Everybody was looking dope. And I looking, I was like, yo, she looks so dope. And she said like her mom, I think her mom is from Liverpool. Can you, it's not that funny. And we look like, I know Halle Berry is black mix. That's,
Yeah.
I knew that. My friend was like, yo, I totally forgot she had, but the fact that you were trying to bond with us through a white family member of Halle Berry, that was forcing the conversation. We were like, right. Like for us, it's Halle Berry. She's having a collection. She is a black woman, and that is how she has been portrayed. When you're trying to like bring that, it was like totally outside of the conversation. And we were like, yo, she has zero social awareness. She doesn't know nothing. We just knew that she could claim something from it. And we're like, no, sis, she's Halle Berry. Hours.
Thank you for that story. I appreciate that story.
Yeah.
But so you know, as we close, I guess like, you know, what's some closing thoughts that you have for the book? You know, I pretty much finished it. Real easy read. Got a nice suit on, you know what I'm saying? You know, shout out to the brother man, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, any closing thoughts?
No, I think it was a good pick by me. No, I think it was like an excellent book, very easy. When I said about the tweets, it's like the knowledge is very basic, but it's basically important to have. You know, it's not looking for a PhD in racism or like racial, conversation. So it's good. Good for him. Yeah, give him, here's his flowers and his money.
Yeah, absolutely. And brother man, I'm proud of you, man. Thank you so much for breaking the stereotype. You know, you was a football player, turned sports announcer. Now you're an author. Next time, you know, be an astronaut, man. Shoot for the sky. I don't care, man. Do whatever you want to do, but don't put a box. You know, I don't know. Have you listened to J. Cole's new album?
Yes, of course I did.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Right? You know, like J. Cole is like, he's rapping and he's playing basketball. Like, you know, do it.
Rwanda.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing, right? Isn't it so dope?
Makes me feel like shit. That's I'm like,
Why?
He's not only an artist, an entertainer, a father.
Yeah.
He's also in Mother Africa in Rwanda, starting basketball at the age of like 30s. And this guy also, he did the NFL. He has his own show, The Bachelor or whatever. And then he wrote not one book. He tweaked the other book, I guess. And he has 2 books. And I'm here trying to write mine. It's taking me forever. That's discipline.
Hey.
That's cool.
Hey. Like J. Cole said, right? You just got to put in the work. I put in the hours, man.
Yeah,
this was fun though. I appreciate this, Ms. Legos, as always. You always coming through with the gems and the dope conversation. Definitely appreciate this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, what's the next one?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're ready, sis. Did you get that book that I sent you?
No. Which one was that?
We have picked one. Hold on.
I don't remember.
It was this one.
Our knowledge is not
primitive.
Wait, what was that about? Oh, yeah.
Yep, so just let me know when you get it.
Our knowledge is not primitive. You want to do the whole book? Or you want to do chapters?
Oh, this book?
Yeah, you read it already, right?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh,
So it's only 4 chapters, but yeah, we probably could do the whole thing.
you hoping? Okay. Anish,
Yeah, yeah,
Anish,
yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
okay, fine. I will get it.
But
'Cause I need to read. I think I have a couple of books here that I need to read.
what's some books you over there that you need to read?
But some of them they're no, I think I'm pretty much done with most of them. Don't worry, I have them. Um,
Well, if you see another book that catches your eye, just send it to me.
I was just thinking like if I had something else on my book shelf that I didn't read that maybe we could. There is only one. That would be interesting to read it with you. It's called Breathe